Hi, I'm reading from a slightly brighter spot in my house than where I normally read. I don't know who's going to come running through here while I'm reading, but we'll see how it goes. This book is called Koala, and it is by this woman named Mem Fox who writes children's books. And then she's a teacher. She writes about being a teacher. And I read a wonderful book by hers when I was a teacher. And it's illustrated by a woman named Pamela Lofts. And the other thing that's interesting about this book is Mem Fox is from Australia. So a lot of the animals that she's talking about are Australian animals. So here we go. Koala. Can you see the sneakers? Pretty funny. Once there was a baby koala so soft and round that all who saw her loved her. Her name was Koala. The emu loved her. The platypus loved her. Even tough little koala claws next door loved her. But it was her mother, of course it was, who loved her most of all. 100 times a day, she would laugh and shake her head and say, Koala, I do love you. Whenever she stretched in the early morning sun or climbed a gum tree or bravely went down the path all by herself, her mother would smile and say, Koala, I do love you. Pretty beautiful pictures. The years pass and other koalas were born, brothers and sisters for Koala. Soon her mother was so busy she didn't have time to tell Koala that she loved her. Although of course she did. And here's Koala a little sad all by herself. Every night as she curled up under the stars, Koala thought about the times her mother had looked at her and said, Koala, I do love you. And she longed for her to say it again. One night, Koala had a splendid idea. Preparations had begun for the Bush Olympics. She would enter the Olympics. She would compete in the gum tree climbing event and she would win. And her mother would fling her arms around her neck and say again, Koala, I do love you. Koala began her training right away. She jogged and puffed and lifted weights and panted. She hung from a branch with one claw at a time until she ached. She did push-ups till her stomach hurt. And last of all, she climbed the tallest tree she could find over and over and over again. Sometimes her mother would watch her and say, How are you going, Blossom? Just fine, Koala would reply. I think this might be much more interesting if you had an Australian accent and we're reading it, but I don't have an Australian accent. At last, the day of the Bush Olympics arrived. Look at all those animals. And look at their little torch that the kangaroo-ish. That's not a kangaroo, that animal that I don't know what it is holding. Koala Claus, remember Koala Claus, though there's a neighbor, had also entered the gum tree climbing event, and everyone knew how fast she was. But Koala wasn't scared. She saw her mother in the crowd and imagined her saying, Koala, I do love you, and her heart filled with hope. It was Koala Claus who went first. Her climb was a record-breaking 22 meters in 70 seconds flat. The spectators whistled and cheered and wildly waved their party hats. Because of course you wear your party hats to the Bush Olympics. Can I do better than that? Wondered Koala Lou. I must. As she stepped toward the tree, a hush fell over the crowd. On your mark, said the kookaburra. Get set, go! I wonder what happens. Koala Lou leapt onto the tree. Up and up and up she climbed, higher and higher, faster and faster and faster, until there she was at the very top. The spectators roared and clapped and stamped their feet. But she wasn't fast enough. In spite of all her training and all her hoping, it was Koala Claus who won the gum tree climbing. Koala Lou came in second. Koala Lou went off and hid. She heard the shouts of the Bush Olympics and cried her heart out. That was very sad. So she's crying because she lost. But let's remember what she really wanted. When the first stars of evening appeared in the sky, Koala Lou crept home through the dark and up into the gum tree. Her mother was waiting for her. Before she could say a word, her mother flung her arms around her neck and said, Koala Lou, I do love you. I always have, and I always will. And she hugged her for a very long time. So Koala Lou didn't win the race, but she got what she wanted after all. The end. I don't know if that's the kookaburra. I thought the kookaburra was the black and white one. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.